What is up everyone, welcome back to Mainly Movies, the channel where we talk about, well, mainly movies. So welcome back to my Halloween horror special. In this episode we're going to be reviewing the 1976 horror classic, Carrie. This movie is about a high school student named Carrie White who's gone through basically a lot through her life. Her mother is very abusive and forces religion on her, and her relationship with her peers isn't very good at all. They make fun of her, they constantly bully her, and when things start to go right, they end up going completely wrong.
And everyone makes fun of her. The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Now, Carrie was a movie that I only just watched today. I heard a lot about this movie. I'd seen the prom blood scene, the famous prom blood scene, and I saw it at the store on Blu-ray, so I thought, you know, I would probably want to review this movie for my Halloween review. And this movie is really good. As a horror film though, I don't really find it scary. This movie's a bit weird to me because it's sort of, in a way, it's sort of like a revenge film because Carrie is taking revenge on all the people that kind of bullied her. It's a very slow building movie, and that's kind of my biggest complaint with the film, but I'll get to that in a minute. But to get into the positives, Sissy Spacek, who played Carrie White, she was really good. The emotional part of this character she nailed really, really well. And the kind of reclusive aspects to this character she did perfectly. It was really, really good to watch this performance. A lot of the other students and all that, they did alright as well. Some of the adults did, but the mother especially of Carrie White did very, very well. She played this abusive mother who just forces religion onto her, and it's just, they're the best scenes in this movie to me personally, is the scenes between her and her mother, because there's just this, it's just antagonizing, and it's just hard to watch because of how, it's almost like torture because the way that she treats Carrie, and that kind of, it leads towards the end of the film, and it gives the end of the film a bit more, it packs more of a punch. But like I said before, this movie is a very slow building film. I feel like Brian De Palma, who directed this, did a really good job at building the character, but at some scenes there was some very unnecessary scenes. The character who plays her boyfriend, I thought that aspect of it was kind of weak. Felt like he was very forced to go out with her, and then it seemed like he really liked her, but then it seemed like he didn't at the same time. He still felt forced, and I don't know how I really felt about that aspect, but it was still okay, and it still gave the ending a bit more leverage. The way that he dies is terrible, just like a bucket falling on his head. I didn't really like that too much. For the most part, this movie, the build-up for that character was really good. Like I said, there is some very slow parts. This movie does as well, it feels very avant-garde. I don't know whether this movie actually was a big film at the time, or if it was an experimental film or an independent film that was made, but it definitely has that very avant-garde feel, and I like it. The way that they use like slow motion all the time, and the music and everything, it seems very stylistic, and that kind of choice worked for me. John Travolta in this movie was, I guess he's playing John Travolta, I don't know, he's like a real douchebag in this movie, and he ends up with that chick that ends up pulling the rope, and the blood falls down on her. And so let's talk about that prom scene for a bit, because it's probably one of the most famous scenes. All I had seen from that prom scene was like the blood falling on her, and I was expecting a bit more carnage, but it just turns out like a fire hose goes off and people like flying around, and then she ends up burning up the place, and that's better. The only real brutal kill in that scene was one of the teacher who she thought she could trust, but then the teacher turns out to be an asshole, and then like this beam from the roof falls down and then like hits her in the stomach, and I thought that was like one of the best kills in the movie. But horror wise, this movie is horror because it's horrific. It's not horror because it's actually scary. I don't find this movie very scary, although they try at the end with the arm coming up. It's not really that scary. On a scariness level, I'd probably give it like a 4. It didn't really scare me. On a disturbing level, because of like the bullying themes and aspects of this film, I'd probably give it about a 7 or an 8. It does a really good job at making you like hate the bullies and like kind of go on Carrie's side in a way, but also you're afraid of Carrie. It's sort of like the Joker movie where, you know, at certain points you feel like you're siding with his character, but then there's certain points where you're afraid of the character. And yeah, in a way the movie Brightburn kind of reminds me a lot like this film, because it's like everything, like the kid that you see is sort of like this good kid throughout most of it, and like it's very reclusive, and you don't really see much. They kind of keep to themselves, and then when shit hits the fan, basically they're the ones in charge of creating all this carnage. On a creative level, this movie probably gets about a 5. It's probably very split down the middle. It does feel creative in its experimental elements with the slow motion and the music and some of the scenery and the lighting choices. But then there's also like the movie does feel very mediocre and feels like something that would come out around that time. So yeah, I'm going to give it about a 5, but an overall film, I'd probably give it about a 7.5 or an 8. I did enjoy it. It was slow in parts, and there was some scenes where I was kind of going on my phone a little bit, just, you know, just checking the time or whatever, because the scenes do slow down a bit, especially the scenes with like the teacher and talking to Carrie about like her boyfriend and everything like that. Those scenes were a bit hard to sit through, but other than that, overall this movie was pretty good. So guys, my Breaking Bad video has been delayed, as well as my Zombieland double tap. Most of them should be out next week. I got an El Camino review as well, and a Halloween horror special for Halloween coming out on Halloween. Is It Really That Bad, which I'm not going to say yet until it comes out, which will be on Halloween. I'll upload both of them on Halloween. I've already filmed the Is It Really That Bad. Just a heads up about that one. We had to, because I had a full couch, we had to use 2 different cameras, and the second camera, the quality isn't very good. So you kind of have to bear with it, because I only have, this is probably the best camera I have. I'm definitely saving up for a better camera, maybe a DSLR and something like that, to give my videos a bit more better quality. I feel like there's about time I need to put a bit more quality into the visuals of my videos, and yeah. So I also have an Exorcist Halloween horror special as well coming out very, very shortly. So stay tuned for that. So guys, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.